Howdy. Yeah, I think it is time to talk a little bit about weather because there is quite something going on all over the place. And I just found this picture whilst I was searching for some other pictures. And this is made in 2021. And what I try to show here is first of all, this region here is up here. Yeah, maybe it goes a little bit more down. But anyway, it's not on scale. But it was the best picture I could find where we have marked the predominant wind direction usually. And what I marked here on this picture, on the right, on the left side, they are pointing to the wrong direction. And now it seems that a similar weather pattern is again emerging. And I have been noodling about how to explain what I think the Coriolis effect actually is in the weather, but this will be the topic of another video. Because once you understand that studying geology is studying petrified weather, you will start to understand so many things. And you start to recognize similar patterns, big and small. The sea pinch stone on the left is a fist sized rock, which is an amazing piece of geology. And on the right side, of course, I think it's the Carpathian Mountains. And they are part of the now ongoing deluge in Central Europe. And I also stumbled across this picture. Obviously, you can see there is clouds and geology. And in a way, they have similar features. We have straight lines, and we have, once again, the perpendicular features. They have similarities. They don't look exactly the same, of course, not like every cloud looks a bit different, as does every mountain. And I think I found this yesterday again. And also, this is already quite some time, 3 years old or something. So I tried to figure out where this could be. Does this place have any relevance regards to the clouds and stuff like this? So I went over to Google Earth and I think I really found it. Because when you go over here to Google Earth, here we have the feature. The somewhat straight lines and also the perpendicular features. And then I also found this picture. This upper part is about 2 meters. This one is much bigger. We will figure out in a second after I showed you what this is. This is a crater quite likely made by a lightning bolt at the plasma rock site. And I don't know if it's not that well visible in this picture, but this is actually round. So it has been molten material at the moment of creation. And that's, like I said, some 2 meters, maybe a bit more. And the whole thing is in a way scalable because southern Finland has a somewhat similar structure. So I said a lightning bolt. And it looks, in a way, that's why I think I originally made this collage in the first place. Those two have somewhat very much similarities, despite their being quite different in size. So let's check it out where this thing is and how big it is. And for this we go over to Google Earth. And maybe you have spotted already. It's here. And I think that's one of the areas that got one of the biggest rainfall in recent days. So the structure here in Central Europe is about 300 kilometers, give or take a few kilometers. And as I have tried to explain about the energy exchange from the ground to the heavens, the meeting of the waters via the volcanoes, because they are active energy exchanges funnels, or how to explain that. And here are still two examples, or however many you want to call them, of geological formations and comparison to clouds in the sky. And here is yet another one. I would say they have quite many similarities. And now we go over quickly to the European Space Agency in order to take a quick look at Mars. You will probably understand in a short moment for why. ExoMars discovers hidden water in Mars's Grand Canyon. The ESA Roscosmos ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter has spotted significant amounts of water at the heart of Mars's dramatic canyon system, Vales Marinares. The water which is hidden beneath Mars' surface was found by the Trace Gas Orbiter GTO's FRIEND instrument, which is mapping the hydrogen, a measure of water content, in the uppermost meter of Mars' soil. While water is known to exist on Mars, most is found in the planet's cold polar region as ice. Water ice is not found exposed at the surface near the equator, as temperatures here are not cold enough for exposed water ice to be stable. Yeah, it's almost like on Earth, you know. Missions, including ESA's Mars Express, have hunted for near-surface water as ice covering dust grains in the soil or locked up in minerals at lower latitudes of Mars and found small amounts. However, such studies have only explored the very surface of the planet. Deeper water stores could exist, covered by dust. FRIEND revealed an area with unusually large amount of hydrogen in the colossal Vales Marinares canyon system. Assuming the hydrogen we see is bound into water molecules, as much as 40% of the near-surface material in this region appears to be water. The water-rich area is about the size of the Netherlands and overlaps with the deep valleys of Condor Chaos, part of the canyon system considered promising in our hunt for water on Mars. Now let's click on this, the deep valleys of Condor Chaos. Chasma. Condor Chasma. Did I read Chaos before? I don't know. Mars Express took snapshots of Condor Chasma, a valley in the northern part of Vales Marinares, as it was in orbit, blah blah blah. So it's basically just the deepest part of it. Okay. So why is this important? This is why it's important, because some months ago I almost forgot about this, that I played around with overlays. And I'm very fascinated by the crooked smile. And it turned out the crooked smile fits perfectly on the Vales Marinares. And since I tried still to figure out how the Alps were formed, what's the thing, I just took the Vales Marinares and made an overlay on the Alps. And since I also have been talking and writing about the topic of mountain water, that basically every well or source of water in nature, is it on a hill or not, or on top of a mountain in the form of a glacier, should be considered volcanologic in nature. So it is volcanic activity, such as cold lahars that might occur in the Alps. They are just not recognized as such. And if you watch whatever volcanic maps, there is not one single volcano marked within the Alps. Really? All around we find volcanoes, but not one single volcano in the Alps. I have been showing you many places where is water pouring out of the mountains. I have been showing you many places where we have hot water pouring out of the mountains. And still, not one single volcano. So anyway, another thing is also about the connection of the meeting of the waters from below and above. So if the electromagnetic potential of the environment has strong fluctuations, the water level will change. In other words, the waters from the depths, they will rise to the surface, i.e. we could experience something like cold water geysers to erupt, like water, like those little lakes on top of mountains, like I have been explaining about the Lake Portel in Switzerland that probably flooded the city of Brig. It's just not considered being anything like a geyser, despite the name tells it already. Saltare. Saltina is the river's name, which is derived from saltare, which is Italian, that means to jump. So the ancients knew that this is a river that might have strong fluctuations in the outflow. So, the more water you have beneath the surface, the stronger the electromagnetic potential of the region is basically in general, because it might react much easier to the weather above. And they are reflecting each other. Each one is a mirror of the other one. But we can't see what's going on beneath our feet, so it's probably wise to look up because we can't see what's going on above our heads. And as we know, there are many precursor, like earthquake precursor phenomena, like clouds. And I also think the auroras that happened before or at the beginning of the eruption phase on Iceland, they were precursor phenomena of something very big coming. And obviously, the Iceland volcanic eruption isn't over yet. And again, to me, Iceland is one volcano that has many different vents. Some bigger, some smaller, but it is one volcano. But anyway, back to the Alps. This is an overlay I made from the Vales Marinares over the Alps some months ago. Now let's just have a look. That's the Vales Marinares from Mars. And in this original video there is no text or anything. I don't know what I should say about this. But I just wanted to bring this to your attention because we have the water on Mars even, and there is something beneath the Alps as well. And I was very surprised after playing a little bit around with these maps and stuff and figured out that they have somewhat very many similarities, despite some of them are in a way the opposite polarity. What seems to be on Mars something that is elevated from the ground seems to be going down on Earth, and vice versa. And maybe we can zoom in into that. It's not the highest quality, but it actually doesn't matter at all. Ain't that amazing? To me, it's very hard to believe that this is just a pure coincidence. So maybe we could also think, if we just push pause here in a moment, that the regions here that is marked in blue, the deeper ones, this might be regions that are very prone to big flooding events. And I'm talking about Earth here. Maybe there's some flooding going on Mars too. Yeah, and I played around a little bit with microwave. That's a copper coil from a loudspeaker. And I left the two copper wires like this and thought I'd put them in or under a glass. Maybe there will be some action. So that's the setup. Obviously, there's some silica already broke. So that's quite nicely put under this glass safely. And I tried to film it also from the inside, but it didn't really work. I think the magnetic radiation somehow disturbed the other camera too much, so it shut off. It didn't work. And at the same time, as I was checking The other camera, there was a huge noise within the microwave. It sounded like something plasma. So then I decided to try to film with my phone as well. And you have seen the glass. It was just clean glass, drinking glass. So after the noise I heard, the glass looked like this. Something happened. There's still something little going on. Yeah, check it out. It started to melt. And also, there is a molten drop on top of this one copper wire. And somehow it seems to create quite a lot of heat because there is molten glass here. Yeah, so the thing is, I thought that's pretty cool. And I also decided that maybe I just leave it there. I closed the microwave in order for the glass to have its time to cool down and nothing's going to happen, everything is. I just can take it out of the microwave and then admire it. But after some 10 minutes or something, I heard a bang and I went to look for what's going on because first I thought the cat did something. But it wasn't the cat. The glass broke into 1,000 pieces all by its own. At least I got some footage of it, how it looked when it was still intact. but it bursted. I think I have somewhere one of those molten parts, but yeah, here you can see the drop of the copper. And before you ask, the melting point of copper is 1084.62 Celsius or 1948 Fahrenheit. Yeah, I have been now struggling very much with those few numbers. But anyway, it seems that my microwave, the parts in it got rather hot because it melted the copper and the silica. Thank you. Bye.